Hello, good morning. Taking a nice drive this morning at 7 o'clock, about 50 degrees out. It's pretty nice. I'm kind of hoping that there's a chance I might be able to get outside today and have some fun doing something later. That's always a good time. But I was watching one of my videos and man, I said, Ed, what are you doing? You're telling stories and they're pretty cool stories, but you're not putting in the details. You missed the most important parts of the whole story. And it's like, oh man, I'll make a note in the bottom. No. You're going to have to tell that story again and bore people some more. Just in case you're bored. Yeah, right. Okay, so let me start this again. This time I'm going to add the details to it. I think it was in the last video or so that I did. I was talking about where I read an article about a World War II veteran. And he, obviously, you're going to come to the conclusion that, how his story got told. But needless to say, eh? Oh, no, don't start that. You're going to get me lost in my story. Anyway, this guy's walking along with his rest of his platoon and stuff in the Army, World War II. And they walk up on a MG-42 machine gun nest, and he's in the front lead, so they let him go by so they can do more damage. But they plan on getting him too. So they just cut loose, and he has time to dive into this ditch. And he thinks it's a ditch, but he finds out that it's more like a tire track, so he's just kind of laying there on top of the ground. And they're spraying over that way with that MG-42 at 1,200 rounds per minute, trying to kill him. And obviously they should have killed him, but he was just laying there and he wasn't doing anything but moving, doing absolutely nothing, wasn't moving, nothing, and just praying to Jehovah God in heaven. He's praying to the Lord that, because he knows he's going to meet his maker, that's for sure, because that MG is just all over there, and he kept jumping back and forth, spraying him. And apparently, if I remember correctly, they pretty much buried him in the dirt over there. So finally, the platoon got up there and they knocked out that MG-42 machine gun nest. And when they did, of course, he was able to get up then, and he got up out of that mess, and that old boy never had a scratch, not one scratch up on him. So, there's got to be some kind of miracle work in there. I do a lot of praying and stuff for safe travel, a shield of protection. I do that a lot to Jehovah God in heaven, and Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I do that because you need that in this world today. You just can't go out on your own and not have somebody looking out for you. That's for sure. So, and whatever happens. If you still have a problem, then, well, that's just the way it was meant to be, I guess. But I know that my brother got in a terrible car wreck, and the transmission was put up in his lap, but he had not one scratch. So, it's just amazing that happened. My wife's been in 2 really bad wrecks. One of them with a Jeep Liberty, where she tore all 4 wheels out from underneath the bottom of it and took it through a heavy wooden fence, and man, shards of wood and the poles and stuff spiked in all around her, but she never got hit, and she never had a scratch. And she wrecked another one and got broadsided and hit right in where her door is and everything, and she never did get a scratch from that one either. So apparently something's working good. There's a lot of stuff that just, it's like, wow, how did you not get hurt really bad in that situation? So, but lately I've been real clumsy. Ever since I walked into that bayonet, it's like, man, I can't do nothing without injuring myself. So it's like, Ed, maybe you need to stay in bed, right? That'd probably be a good idea. Keep yourself in bed for the next 6 months. But so I haven't been doing anything much. Every time I get ready to do something, I think, well, I don't know. The way stuff's been going for me might be dangerous. We don't want to be dangerous now, do we? Of course not. You don't want to. You just want to have a good time and enjoy yourself. You don't want to be, suffering. That's for sure. Laid up, whatever. That's no fun. But needless to say, in the situation, you can't get enough protection. So I thought I'd throw this other notion out here, because initially I didn't really plan on having any kind of a religious agenda of any sorts whatsoever. But I got a lot of blessings in my life, and I was grateful for them. And so I told the Lord Jehovah in heaven that should I ever, be able to. Now, I don't want to try to start a church. I don't see how I could do that. But if I ever ran into where I could minister the word of Jehovah and make him be known, as in Psalms 83:18, that people may know that you alone, Jehovah, are the Most High all over the earth, I would do it. So didn't think any more about it. It's been a long time ago that happened. Quite a while back, actually. Might even be years. Quite a few years back, probably. And I said, yeah, if I could ever do anything, I would do it. So anyway, and I done forgot about it. Didn't even think nothing of it. So I'm here doing my YouTube channel, playing around with muskets and stuff, having a pretty good time. And I get this one particular French cavalry pistol that I bought from Military Heritage, I think, or maybe I got it from Historical Twist. But anyway, it might be a Historical Twist one. But it's pretty nice. So I did my video, and then I up and titled it, so that it came up, you could see what it was. And what did I do? Well, I didn't know what I did, but a subscriber / audience, one person said, hey, do you know that you spelled Calvary like Mount Calvary, where Jesus was crucified? And I thought, oh wow, okay, so I didn't know. Okay, apparently I don't know how to spell Calvary right. I really didn't connect that, but he did. He said that's spelled like Calvary, like where Jesus was crucified. And I'm like, interesting. Didn't think too much about it, and then a little light popped on in my head, boom, and I realized that, you know what, when you, a long time ago, years, you promised the good Lord Jehovah in heaven that if you ever had an audience to talk to, or somebody that you could maybe help make their life be better, hopefully that's the goal, that you would do it, and you would proclaim Jehovah God, our Father in heaven, the Most High all over the earth. So that's what happened. So you'll have to endure a little bit of religion every now and then. Now, mind you, I get a little bit nervous because I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I'm clowning around, goofing off, trying to have some fun, and then I've got to incorporate a little bit of religion into my video, and I'm a wee bit nervous about that, to be honest with you, because I don't want to say something to get myself in trouble. Because to me, I would say that the good Lord is he's a father figure, and if you really think a lot, and if you happen to be fortunate enough to have a great father, you don't want to do anything to disappoint him. And that's basically how I feel. I don't have fear and all that kind of stuff. I just want to not disappoint thy Lord Jehovah God in heaven by doing stupid stuff. And I'm not perfect, and I have my faults. So everybody does. Nobody's perfect, and everybody's journey is going to be different. So you got to know where you're at and start recognizing things. So maybe you can do it. Who knows? I don't know. And if you can't, and it's not your cup of tea, well, hey, it's not your cup of tea. It's no, it is kind of a big deal from where I'm at, but it's not a game changer or a possibility that, it's not going to be good for you, because we have no comprehension of how much the good Lord Jehovah God in heaven cares and loves about it and loves his children. And every one of us is part of his children. And the proof in the pudding, as they say, that the good Lord loves his children would be when he sent a part of himself as his son, Jesus Christ, down to the earth. Now, some people don't know how that worked out, but I'm going to describe it a little bit as I see it. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. So you have Joseph and Mary. And Mary is pure as the driven snow, right? Well, she winds up pregnant, and Joseph he knows he's not the father, so he don't know what happened, but he figured, oh man, why did she do that? And so he's trying to protect her, thinking that if they catch her, because back in them days, if the girl got out of wedlock and stuff like that, they stone you. They don't mess around, they just kill them. So he's going to protect her. But anyway, if you watch some videos there by Ron Wyatt, there's an interesting one about discovering some of Jesus' blood there in the Middle East, where he was crucified out of the crack of one of the rocks and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. There's a lot of good information there that you can research and look around, and you'll find all kinds of other places and scientific stuff that makes it all come together. Stuff in there about Noah's Ark. There's a DVD you can get, or a video maybe on YouTube, I think, called Flood Geology. That's pretty wild, about Noah's flood. I mean, basically, there's just so much evidence that's biblical that it's just overwhelming. When they dig up some old stuff in Italy, and it's got writing on it and stuff, and talking about Jesus, and where there's certain artifacts or temples and stuff like that, and then they end up in the Middle East digging it, and they find it, and it all comes together. There's an ancient civilization there, all the ruins and stuff, the pyramids, that kind of stuff. The Bible talks that the land was one, and all the people were together, and they tried to build a tower to heaven. So he confused the languages and split the continent and divided it all up. So I was watching a scientific show, and they were amazed at how on every continent, the Aztecs, in one area, and the Egyptians in another, and the Romans and all that, how they all shared this particular interesting connected building technology. Well, if you think about it, and you could use your Bible as reference, which the scientific people did not, they just said, well, we don't really understand how they could all have like the same type of connections. But the Bible tells you how. They were one people in one land, so they all had that building technology. So, and if you read into some of the scriptures, you'll find out that the watchers who fell to earth, which they call the aliens, came down and took women for their wives and made the Nephilims and all that interesting stuff. There's all kinds of evidence for that. That's interesting. I mean, there's just so much stuff there, and most all your movies and stuff that seem to be successful have some kind of a twist and a biblical connection, usually. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But that's why I wound up having to, I didn't have to, but because I am a servant of the Lord Jehovah in heaven, and sometimes not the best of one, that's for sure, I'm compelled to throw out a little bit of religion there. Probably should, before I go out playing with my flintlock, probably, if I had enough wisdom in my head, I'd say a nice prayer for safety, so that no freak accidents or nothing happens that I get injured or hurt. That would be a good idea, you know, because sometimes you get a little bit careless, and I've been trying to not do things, you know, that can be dangerous with gunpowder and stuff like that when I'm tired or not feeling real good, not paying attention. So trying to film stuff and everything by yourself can get you distracted, and you want to be careful of that. You don't want to wind up getting hurt, because you can't have fun if you're injured. I just don't get it. But there's some new flintlock videos and stuff coming up. Different people on YouTube putting up some cool stuff. I've been watching some of those. You always watch those. You never know when you're going to learn something. You know, as soon as you think you know it all, then you find out, oh wow, that's interesting. And there was something that I learned just not too long ago, but I can't remember. The sad part is I can't remember what it was. That's the sad part. Learn all this good information and then can't remember what it was. So that's why it's a good idea to bookmark a video or put it in your save list or whatever, so if you get to thinking about it, you can go back and watch it. There's some real good videos on disassembling locks and about everything you want to know about the muskets. And YouTube doesn't always keep that stuff up for you. I see comments that never came in to me. I didn't even know anybody commented on that video, and I'm looking and I see, oh, somebody commented. It didn't come into my email or nothing. I didn't even know it. And when I find it, of course, you know, I'm responding. So that happens more often than you can imagine, that I just don't get anything on it. The channel, which was just supposed to be at one time my personal, let's get this stuff off of my phone so I got some room, and maybe something for the, you know, future generations to check out and say, oh, that's our old crazy Grandpa Ed. He's a little nutty, that boy. But that was the idea starting out. But then things started growing. People started watching me, and I see people subscribing, and I got the comment about, you know, the misspelling of Calvary, and then I realized that, oh no, I'm going to be able to, I don't know if it was oh no, but hey, I'm going to be able to fulfill a promise that I made by, you know, bringing some religion into my channel. So we'll have that, but it's a good thing. And you got to know that, you know, if you like them muskets and flintlocks and stuff anyway, the people that were wielding them things, especially in America, the colonies, the colonists and stuff, and they were, you know, God-fearing people, you know. Well, they say, in God we trust, all others pay cash, right? So, and, you know, the more they try to take that out of the country, the more the country deteriorates and starts to go in the wrong direction. So we're slowly conditioned, and our brains are being washed to you know, I don't know. It's just bad news, that's all I can tell you. People are losing their common sense and everything else, apparently. But I don't know. What can you do? That's like I told my son. I said, well, we'll just, you know, do what we can to protect the family the best we can. I mean, we can go take part in whatever process there is for, you know, trying to select the right people to represent you. Sometimes you got a choice between rotten and more rotten, right? This guy, he's rotten, he's no good, you know. And this other guy here, you think he's no good, you should know him, he's even worse. Well, you got to pick the one that's not quite as rotten, I guess, if you're going to take part in it and try to make a difference. I'll be talking about voting, of course. And you got to go vote in person. Go sign your name and vote in person. That way you know it counts, because otherwise who knows where it really went to, right? You never know. So I always go do it in person. And when I first started out voting and stuff, I didn't know nothing about it. And a lot of younger folks and stuff, they don't either. I thought, this is a democracy, which it's not. So it must be the Democrat Party. But I don't know, because I'm confused on it. So I said, I'm going to just be an independent and try to select the best man for the job. So that was my idea. But then I discovered that, you got one side that tells you everything you want to hear. and then another side that 80% of them are just like the ones that do that, who aren't going to do anything but, try to collapse your system. They don't respect the laws, and they don't respect a lot of stuff, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, They just think, it's time to change all that. Well, no, it's worked for over 200 years in the country, so I would suspect that you probably ought to keep that going, because if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. You can make it way worse than it ever was before by sticking your nose in and messing with stuff that you should just leave alone. And that's what they do. So the problem is, with the democracy, the way I see it, it's like you have a king, and the king's will is enforced by military. Well, that king can step into the background if he has to, because the people didn't like the idea of having nothing and being happy and eating crickets and bugs. So they want rid of him. Now, he may not be able to flip it over because of that, but if he could blame it on somebody else, he might be able to keep his seat. What they'll do is they'll hold a free and fair election then, right? And you'll get you a candidate and people can run for it. But I'm telling you, it's all about selecting the puppet, and that's what they'll do. And so now everybody thinks that, everything's working good. It's like a picture I seen one time. It was a building that had a cow standing out in front of it, and it said on the door, it said Republican and Democrat is what it said on the top of the doors. And then it went down an aisleway, and there was one door that both of those doors went to, and on that sign it said slaughterhouse. So you know where that beef was going, right? But there's a lot of stuff like that, and I don't want to get controversial on anything, but you guys got common sense and everything, so you'll have to use it. That's for sure. Now, Republic, I think the problem with the Republic is that the greedy other side takes it all over. That's why you got 80% of your Republican Party is a bunch of rhinos, and they don't represent you. I've never seen a divided party like that. I mean, heck, they can't get together for nothing, So they're not going to be able to get anything done, because most of them's bought and paid for, I imagine. At least that's what it looks like. Now, my opinion is that of probably every average common American citizen, the silent majority in America. And it's a great and beautiful country, and we love it, and we want to keep it, and we want to keep it healthy. We need to work on repealing some laws and getting rid of them, because there's some laws that just aren't any good. They need to go away. Some people said, well, let's say if you make one law, you got to repeal two, because that way you get that stuff off the books, and you can clear up some of these loopholes and stuff that people were able to use to avoid prosecution for their corruption. That's pretty simple as that. I don't know if what I say makes a lot of sense to you. Sometimes I'm not too sure it makes sense to me. But I know when I started out, I didn't know anything about politics, that's for sure. And it sure has hurt and divided a lot of people. That's a fact. you know. And it's like, well, who you voting for? Well, I don't know. I don't like that one guy, so I'm going to vote against him. Well, that's silly. You should look up their policies and find out if they believe what you believe, because if they're totally against everything you do and you're going to vote for them because you didn't like the other guy, you are shooting yourself in the foot, literally. I'm telling you, that's a fact. That is no good. No good at all. That is something else. And we've all done it, I'm sure, you know. But you got to educate yourself and find out what these people stand for. I don't vote for anybody, but I will vote against them. That's that simple. So I go to vote against people, and I don't vote for anybody because I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up to the standards that they need to. So vote against them ones you know aren't going to do the job. That's what I do. And with this year being all this craziness going on, you know, I don't know. If they have a election this year and everything like they're supposed to, it would surprise me. I think the only way that'll happen is if they done bought it, right? So this video will probably get me in trouble, but hey, that's how I feel. A lot of the churches and stuff, they don't participate in all that stuff. They don't talk about it and try to get the congregation doing the right thing, what they're supposed to. And I think the reason why is because if they do get political, they can lose their tax exempt status or something like that. You have to look that up for yourself and see. But if that's the case, that's a kind of a poor reason not to try to bring the good Lord more and more into your country, right? So that's my opinion on that one. All right, so hey, I've been on here way too long, and I'm ready to go in the house and make me some coffee, goof around. Oh my, and the sky looks really pretty. A lot of cotton looking clouds floating around up there. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to making some more flintlock shooting videos and looking at them and comparing them and goofing around. So I'm still in the process of getting some of this stuff paid for, so I won't be getting anything new for a while. And then like everybody else, you know, we got taxes, car insurance, house insurance, all that stuff coming up. So we're going to be pretty strapped to the wall. And just like everybody else, we're all in that boat. So we might as well just relax and don't get too down about it. Life is what it is, and you just have to push through and do the best you can. So, and help each other. That's always good. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to sign off of here and go into the house. Thanks for, if you stuck it out this long, you watched the whole thing, I don't know. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think. You know, it's always nice to share opinions, and that's what we're doing here. We're just sharing our opinion. You know, I'm not against anybody. Just sharing my opinion, my thoughts, and stuff like that. So, and I haven't been doing driving videos. I did a couple of them. They don't get many views, so I'm like, you know, probably ought to concentrate on my driving and watch the road more than be, you know, talking and stuff like that. But, well, hey, got this. It rides with me. Put my hand on it and pray for some protection when I'm driving. And plus, you know, if something happens, I got to check out for some reason. Maybe I can get a hold of that and I'll have something to read while I'm taking my journey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day, and we'll see you hopefully in a more fun and exciting video playing with the old flintlocks.